Alright guys, so I thought I'd be productive and, do a second video. It is now 3:14. I'm really going for it. Okay. So, I thought to myself, what is it that people don't do or that I haven't seen yet? Because everyone has cool segments. Like, I really like Mega Capital G's The Return of. I think it's completely cool, hilarious, and just smart as hell. The guy's intelligent. Especially because he's using like the Judge Judy music, which I used to watch when I was a kid, so I think I have that sort of nostalgia for it. I think it's funny and classy. Even though Judge Judy isn't, classy in any sense. If anything, it's kind of trashy. Sorry. Okay. So, I thought about a segment I can do, and one of them is going to be called Yugi-No's. As in N-O, not K-N-O. And, I mean, just basically things you shouldn't be doing in the game. I wanted to do a segment called Yugi-No's and then another one called Looper. I want to call it Looper because recently Joseph Gordon-Levitt is doing a movie called Looper where he's traveling into the future to eliminate, suspects, and I thought the title of it was cool, and I wanted to do it in reverse, so cars that I'd go back in time to get rid of so that we wouldn't have a... Oh, you know what? Let's just say that Looper works both ways. I can go in time or back in time to eliminate problematic cards, especially because we have new cards coming out. Anyhow, this one is Yugi-No's, and this one's basically going to be on trading, the do's and don'ts of trading. So, trading, why we do it. We trade because there are cards that other people have that we don't have. And we trade because we're hoping to get those cards without having to buy them. And we don't buy them because we don't have the money for them. I think it's because we don't have the money for them. Because I really don't buy too many cards anymore. I used to buy packs, but I found that I don't have the luck for getting everything I want. So I don't know, I found that my money is better spent elsewhere. If I can buy stuff cheap and then turn it over, that's what I do. A lot of the stuff I get is from trading. I know a lot of people say this, but truth be told, that's how I get my stuff. Anyway, trading. What to expect? First of all, a lot of people have cards, and I think there's a certain way that you should present them. I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh can be a business. I'm not saying you should base your entire career off of it, because I don't. Neither am I trying to, but I do have fun with it, and I am able to make money from it and just get the stuff I need to. But when you're going to trade with someone, let's be professional and, be nice and courteous. And, if you're going to take someone's time, I'm not expecting you to trade with me, but don't waste my time for half an hour looking through my stuff, especially if I just want something very small from you, and I'm, usually pretty straightforward about prices and values. And I mean, I don't mind when people check their stuff on their phones because, if you want to check if there's a shift in the market, that's fine. But honestly, there are a few things you should do before you go to an event, your locals, or a major event. One, know your values. I mean, Spoofy did a video on this the other day ago. I didn't really entirely like his whole video, but he did bring up some good points. You shouldn't really be checking your prices the day of. That's probably something you should have done the night before. Sometimes the prices fluctuate, but usually it's not a whole lot to where you're even missing out on a lot. The only time I really don't know my prices is when people ask about cards that no one ever asks about, and I happen to have them with me, and even then, unless I know it's an expensive card, I really don't care at that point. If I'm taking a hit, well then it's my fault for not knowing better. Try to organize your stuff, and I say this because nothing is more deterring than when people show you one of these, a box, and they say, yeah, go through this, and I have all these cards, and it's even worse, it's kind of heartbreaking when kids, want these high-end cards from you, and you're like, dude, you want me to go through this box? And this box has just all these commons and stuff that nobody wants, neither do you want yourself, and you're just like, dude. And sometimes you get lucky and you find gems in there, but I think when I first started off playing, that was something I didn't mind doing because, I barely had any good cards, and I was like, oh man, he's letting me look through his cards. But at this point, I'm much more established, and I'm just not willing to do it half the time. If it's a slow day and, I really don't have anything to do, I'll probably go through it. But if your cards are slimy, I'm not going to go through it. If your cards have a rubber band around it, I'm not probably going to go through it. Only because at that point, your cards are probably damaged, and it's not worth my time. So, be nice and get one of these. It doesn't even have to be a monster binder. It can be any binder, because I started off with one of the little collection binders, and you know what, you just build up your collection, and then people will take you seriously, or at least they should. Okay. I think other than that, the other thing you should really worry about is showering, because I don't know if you've gotten guys have noticed, but some people have these weird smells to them, so that's also a deterrent too. And I don't know, just be respectful of each other. I know everyone's always, not always everyone, I shouldn't speak in like broad terms like that, but there are people who will try to rip you off, so I don't know your values and you don't have to worry about it. And if you don't like what they're offering you, you can probably find that somewhere else. That's one thing I live by. Don't ever be desperate for a card, especially if you're cutting it to the last minute. Like if you're at some major event and you're like, man, I'm going to go here and I need to get this card. This card is important. Do that ahead of time, because then you don't have to worry about people cutthroating you for stuff. If they know you need it bad and you've got nowhere else to go because it's some super hard card to find, at that point you've kind of pigeoned yourself into that, their mercy. And that's why I usually don't do that. If I really want a card, eventually I'll find it, even if it takes longer. I always find the cards, and I find them at reasonable prices, so just wait. There's no problem with waiting. If you're one person who has to have it and you have the money for it, well, power to you. But I don't do that myself. Anyway, this is the Yugi-No segment, and I hope you guys like it.